PLD Projects presents Holy Snokes, a Star Wars podcast featuring PLD and Matty Gunner. May the Force be with you, always. Well, hello there. Welcome to another episode of Holy Snokes, a Star Wars podcast here on the PLD Projects Network. I am the titular PLD. With me, as always, the non-titular Matty Gunner. How are you doing, my friend?
I hate today.
Yeah, I would
never, ever utter the words, "I'm making great time," ever again. Don't do it.
Yeah, you're getting this episode a little later in the day than you normally would, for reasons. And
I had car trouble. I haven't had car trouble in years, PLD. I forgot how frustrating it can be.
There is little else that is when you're traveling, not even traveling far, but when you're just on the road and then also car trouble hits. It's out of nowhere. It takes you out of your day. It just, everything changes. All of a sudden your walk gets a lot lighter. It's just not a good time. There's nothing good about it.
And then the guy who's supposed to fix it comes and says, "I don't have the right tools for this." What the fuck do you mean you don't have the right tools for the job? This is your job.
Dude,
you literally have one job.
Well, I'm glad you're home.
I'm glad I'm home.
You're here. You're ready to go to bed as soon as we do this episode. Which I'm happy to say, going into more happier times, that we did not get Force Centered. We actually got news that dropped the day before we recorded instead of the day after, or the hour after. So
I found out this morning. I found out literally this morning while I woke up. Yeah, because I was busy last night.
Oh wow!
I woke up this morning and I was like, "Shit, I got a long drive ahead of me. I'm not gonna be able to watch this till literally as soon as I get in the door." And then as I was driving, I was like, "Oh, I'm making pretty good time. I should be okay." And then
nope.
But I have watched it. I literally just watched it as we went live. So
if you're speaking, Maddie's speaking of the trailer, of course, that dropped yesterday. The announcement to the trailer. That's one of the news bits we're going to get into. Obviously, we pitched this last week. This was going to be our Rogue One pre-watch. Now, if you're new to this show, you don't know what the heck a pre-watch is, I'll explain it to you. A pre-watch is, we decided that with Andor coming up, we just finished our Andor rewatch. We know that it's going to change everything, so we plan to do a Rogue One rewatch after we do Andor Season 2.
Diego says it's going to change everything.
Diego says that, true. Diego Luna, Andor himself. So we were going to do that, but then Matty brought up a good point that with the new connectivity, not new connectivity, but all the connectivity that Season 2 of Andor has with Rogue One, we're getting Krennic coming back, obviously, things of that nature. Maybe it would be nice to get that back in our mindset before we watch Andor Season 2. So we decided to do a pre-watch of Rogue One. We've watched it before, yes, but it's a pre-watch before we watch Andor Season 2. We are going to
always rewatch it. I'll always rewatch it.
It's a good film. It's a lovable film. So we're going to watch it twice in a month now, because we're going to watch it again after Andor Season 2 and see what changed from here and now. Like our viewing today, we're going to do something. And then the next time we do it, I won't do it the same exact way. We're not going to do our segments there. We'll just basically talk about what we thought differently and how it did get changed, if at all. Maybe we're just having a fun little rewatch, and who knows. But I'm glad to get that in today. But the news dropping, obviously, shifted that from the front page news story, as it were, on our show here. We shifted that to our back end, and we got the drop. And we'll get right into it. The drop of a new show and a trailer for a new show and a poster for a new show coming out on May the 4th. We're talking about, of course, if you haven't heard, Tales of the Underworld, the third in the Tales series. We had Tales of the Jedi. We had Tales of the Empire. This is our third such grouping of shorts that we're going to see animated-wise. It's kind of funny because I watch these things, and back in the day before I was podcasting, I'd be like, holy shit, great new Star Wars show, and that would be it. Now I have that side of me, but there's also the next side of me that goes, well, what does this mean? So we're going to tackle all of that. Let's first start with the press release from StarWars.com about it. We'll read that out, and then we'll talk about what we saw in the trailer and what our thoughts and prayers, and aspirations are. According to StarWars.com, Two favorite Star Wars bounty hunters are back for Tales of the Underworld. Lady Asajj Ventress and her yellow lightsaber are back alongside the infamous quick draw Cad Bane in a new anthology of animated shorts. Today, Lucasfilm and Disney Plus announced Star Wars Tales of the Underworld, the third installment in the Tales anthology series following Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Empire, revisiting beloved characters to explore previously untold yet pivotal stories. Streaming on Disney Plus this Star Wars Day, May the 4th, Tales of the Underworld is a 6-episode journey following two notorious bounty hunters, former Darkside assassin Asajj Ventress, as she's given a new chance at life and must go on the run with an unexpected new ally, and outlaw Cad Bane as he faces his past when he confronts an old friend, now a marshal on the other side of the law. In the new trailer for the series, fans get a glimpse at how Ventress and Bane are surviving in the shadow of the Empire. In a tattered cloak, Ventress, last seen in Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 3, ignites her saber to face a mysterious enemy with a red blade, while a young Padawan grapples with life after Order 66. Donning his iconic hat, Bane finds himself in another tense blaster fight as steel peckers circle overhead, a standoff that reminds us of his live-action appearance in the Book of Boba Fett. New key art for this series gives us a closer look at a host of new characters and one other familiar face, Latz Ratzi, the Theelid bounty hunter we first met in Star Wars The Clone Wars. Ventress, Bane, and the rest hover over a credit symbol, the third in a trilogy of posters that previously showcased the Jedi Order symbol and the Imperial Cog emblem. Tales of Underworld stars returning voice actors Nika Futterman as Asajj Ventress and Corey Burton as Cad Bane, as well as Art Butler, Lane Factor, AJ Locascio, Claire Grant, Don Leon Garter, and Eric Lopez. Dave Filoni created the series and is the supervising director. He's also an executive producer alongside with Athena Yvette Portillo and Carrie Beck. Josh Rhimes serves as co-executive producer. Alex Spotswood is the senior producer, and Matt Genovitz is the writer. Watch the stories of Ahsoka Tano and Count Dooku in Tales of the Jedi, and Morgan Elsbeth and Barriss Offee in Tales of the Empire now. Then stream Tales of the Underworld when it arrives on Disney Plus May the 4th, 2025. All right. A lot to be said there. Let's talk about the trailer itself, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Get your thoughts on the trailer first, since you just saw it. It's fresh in your mind.
Yeah, first off, I want to shout out Star Wars Sessions boys for essentially scooping this months ago. Mm-hmm. They came out with this months ago, said that the Underworld was going to be the next one. So shout out to those boys for getting that scoop. It makes sense with the rumblings about the old Underworld show.
Yeah,
recently.
Absolutely.
It seems to be like this is the yearly thing, these little anthology series.
Right.
So, I'm all for it.
I like any Star Wars animation, honestly. Like I shouldn't say I'm not a shill. Like I like everything, but I'm always excited to see new animation because the animation has really been probably more consistent than live action as far as I'm concerned. As far as Disney goes, I love the Clone Wars, I love the Rebels, I love Bad Batch. I love the Tales of the Jedi, and I love Tales of the Empire. Tales of the Underworld, we thought might be coming out at some point. This is one that we did pitch. I do think that this looks very interesting. I read the press release is a little more illuminating as you get to it, because you look at the trailer itself, you're not entirely sure where it comes from. You got, obviously, you can tell from Asajj that it's at least post Clone Wars. You know, she's got the hair, she's got the yellow saber, so it's not like a Clone Wars tale, obviously. The press release does say that they're both in the Tales of the Empire, underneath the shadow of the Empire, so that's another clue there. It's interesting to see what this is going to be, because you look at what we got. We got her appearance in the Bad Batch. Is this taking place between, like, say, Dark Disciple and Bad Batch? Is this where we're getting the tale of
I would say so, yeah, because Dark Disciple was end of the Clone Wars.
Right. So is this taking place or is this taking place post Bad Batch? I don't know. That's a good question for me. Mainly because they did tell us, obviously, Dark Disciple, Asajj Ventress died. Spoiler alert. Bad Batch, she made the surprise reappearance without any explanation as to how she was back. They did mention during those press releases that we were going to find out eventually. They were going to tell us something. It looks like this might be it, or is it? And that's a question I'll talk about in a little bit.
To me, it does, because it looks like this Padawan looking kid is in hiding, and she's found him. And
well, that's part of the thing about the anthology goes to, because as you know, when previously, let's take the Ahsoka Tano episode. There was an Ahsoka Tano episode pre-Phantom Menace, Ahsoka Tano Clone Wars, Ahsoka episode. Like it could be time jumps like that. If there's 6 episodes, you have one then, one then, one then. It could absolutely happen the same way. In fact, I expect that to be the case for the Cad Bane story. I feel like we're going to get an episode of Cad Bane as a youngster, or at least maybe as
I don't want to feel like sympathy for Cad Bane. I really hope they don't go that angle. He's such a good character. Is just like a heartless bastard.
It kind of depends on how it's done. I don't think you have to feel necessary sympathy. You can still humanize him, even though he's not human, but you can like give him some basis of characterization, and as long as you make him still be a prick for a prick, like you shouldn't have like we feel bad for him. I get that, but you can have like tragedy befall him and have stuff that happens that makes him like go down the way, and like
that seems to become very formulaic with villains these days. Like, give me a villain for a villain's sake. Like, he's just a bad dude.
I don't think you're
always been a bad dude. I don't think we are, and I'm kind of bummed because like I would have loved for him to have just like been a bad kid, grew up into a bad dude.
Well, it depends on like, to me, I guess that depends on like if I'm hoping they don't go the face of he was going to be a hero and then this happened and he's a villain, and more of that he grew up with somebody who was a hero and he was a villain and they split off. That's the kind of thing I'm thinking of. Like you had a friendship with this person that you could kind of be okay.
Although like he got framed for something.
Maybe it could potentially be a case. Maybe that's why he never did anything. Maybe that's the reason why he became a prick. That's like he's like, okay, I'm good. I'm now a bad guy and F y'all. Because he still makes the decisions that he makes. And I don't think anything's going to justify the decisions he makes. So I hope we don't get that. But I do think we're getting that like younger Cad Bane. I think we're going to have the kind of 3 jumps. I think you're going to have like that young Cad Bane thing. You're going to have a scene with maybe what this other Duros character is. I'm actually very intrigued to find out about. He's Cad Bane's like, if he's Cad Bane's like equal, like on the side of the law, that's an interesting angle to go with. And then the last episode will be the showdown between these two. I think the very much Boba Fett showdown that we never got from Clone Wars, and we kind of did get in Book of Boba Fett potentially. I keep reusing it, but it's a trope that we love.
It's just a Western high noon.
It's Western high noon trope, right? And Cad Bane is one of the most Western high noon trope type characters we have, so it makes sense. So I like that aspect of it. With Asajj, you get a lot of different things going on. The action looks great. It's a case of this is the 3rd time we've seen this now, 3rd installment in this saga. These are shorts. They can't do anything like huge. We're not going to get like Clone Wars level or Rebels level like story points. They have to be more character driven. Some people get disappointed by that. I have liked all of them so far. I would say my least favorite arc of the 4 that we've got. You think Ahsoka, Dooku, Barriss, and Morgan Elsbeth is probably Morgan. Probably my least favorite because, maybe basically because I didn't have much. I wasn't invested much with her anyway at that point. Like I liked her character from Mandalorian and Ahsoka, but it wasn't like I was like, I want this. I need to know more about this character. It was kind of like, that's kind of cool. Whereas Ahsoka, I was all in on. Dooku, I was all in on, and Barriss, I was really kind of all in on for the most part too. Asajj and Bane are characters I know very well, and I'm very happy to get more. So it's nice for them to get the highlight. So I like these ideas as long as we kind of keep in mind that these aren't going to change the galaxy. Like we have to. These are short. And sometimes I think people get like disappointed when like every episode is not like a galaxy changing event or oh my god moment. Sometimes it's just kind of a cool
and this story. Is not a dig at you when everything's not connected to the wider story.
Absolutely.
When we do just tell these campfire stories, people like, and I'm not telling you because I know how much you love your connectivity.
I do.
There are a lot of people out there that are like, what was the point in this?
Right.
The point in this was to tell the story and for you to engage with the story that you are presented with.
Absolutely. And that is the difference between me and those other people, because I definitely will take a look at that and go, oh, cool. I could appreciate that and go from that. Especially because if I like the character, or I like the situation. I like that we're getting more of these. I hope these continue. There's no reason they shouldn't continue. I think we should get a bunch of more. We can get Tales of the Sith. We can get Tales of the Pirates, Tales of, we get all sorts of Tales of things kind of thing. Speaking of Pirates, Tales of the Mosque. Is there a possible Hondo and Naka appearance in this series? I think that could happen. That could happen.
Could do.
I'm just saying. Hondo watch. I'm saying like we do Hondo watch every time, except for Andor, which Moss watch. We do Hondo watch every time, but sometimes you kind of get that like this feels like a place that he could much more than others.
Rescuing a Jedi kid, maybe.
You never know. You never know. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty excited about this. I think this is going to be. I like the fact that it's a month away, so it's like you got to drop the trailer, drop the poster, and boom, here you go. Month's time, you're gonna get a Star Wars show.
And they do always come out on May the 5th as well, so it's like it's a cool thing that we know now. It's like okay, every year on May the 5th we got this.
Did the first one happen that way too?
Mm-hmm.
I thought the Ahsoka one was later on in the year. That's why I thought the Ahsoka one was kind of random. The first one.
Pretty sure it was on May the 5th.
Okay. I thought it was different, but
I might be wrong. I'm very tired, so I might be wrong.
And the second one, absolutely, I believe that was the case. But I think I remember correctly. It's kind of one of those weird things where, like, oh, this would have been a cool May the 4th kind of thing. But maybe I don't know. I hope we do get it every year. I think it'd be a great idea, but it's the case. Now, the other part I was talking about for me is when I started thinking a little deeper into it is what does this mean? Because we got Celebration coming up, and next week's going to be our big Celebration preview. So I'm not going to go into too far details on this, but it does make me wonder that rumors are that from everything I've heard along the way, again, this is not take this all with a grain of salt. It's all, people talking and chatter, and they could be talking out of their ass. But it seems like with live action taking a step back, they're going more towards movies. We're not going to do many TV. I think we're doing not many live action TV shows. Animation is supposed to be, quote unquote, taking over or taking center stage at Celebration. And we do know that, the animated panel they talked about was the only one that I could see outside of the panel for Mandalorian and Grogu, obviously, which is going to be taking place about future stuff. It was the only one that promised anything, in Andor season 2, which is going to be days later. It's the only one that said, sneak peek at what's to come. So the question is this, why, I guess a couple of questions, and they're all kind of interrelated. Why blow your money shot now before a Celebration? And I get the fact that you want to give it time to, in some ways I completely understand it because it's only a month away and Celebration, it'd only be 2 weeks later that it drops. So you kind of try to get some kind of ball rolling on that. But I guess the part of it is like, is this it? Or is there
I would say so, because if you look at that panel, it's a panel talking about the whole 20 years of Lucasfilm animation.
Right. But
so it's going to be a pretty long
You
panel.
think that this is going to be the only thing they announce at Celebration?
This year, yeah.
So we're not going to have an announcement of anything we don't know about?
Nope. I don't think this is that kind of Celebration. I really don't.
See, I would be very disappointed if that's the case. I'll be very disappointed, I'll be honest with you, because I think that this needs something from there that needs something like at least, because you're telling me with all the animation that has to take place years in advance, like we know this, like you're telling me they're not going to announce a full live action, a full
I don't think so.
Show?
Because how long ago was it that they were just hiring more animators?
Not to the point where they should know something, that they should have something in their work. So they should, this is the time to do it. Celebration. The next Celebration is 2027, which means it's 2 years later, and the show's going to be out by then.
So where would be better to announce a whole new slate, a whole new era of Star Wars? 2027, when it's the 50th year, you can drop everything there, make a huge event, do it in California, or you're in Japan, where there's going to be barely anyone from the Western world there.
When you have really going to be nothing coming out.
These panels aren't streamed, so people aren't going to be watching it. So I really don't think this is one of those. We didn't get much in London other than talking about projects that might not even happen.
I will be disappointed. I'll be honest. I'm going to be honest. I'll be very disappointed.
But again, it comes back to the conversation of when did Celebration become about announcements?
I know. No, I get that. I get it to your point, but I feel like there should be something. We should know something that's coming for animation. If there's something coming in animation, like that's more than just anthology. Visions, I guess. I guess.
They haven't really talked a lot about Visions, and it's in Japan, and it's all Japanese creators this year. So maybe that's it. Unfortunately, we're just in a lull period at the moment, and It's nothing that we haven't been through before. So
I'll be disappointed. I will say that again. I'll be very sad, disappointed about it.
Well, I'll be disappointed as well. But you know, it's unfortunately it's one of those things where they also have D23, so there might be something next year.
I mean, there's the rumor, of course, also that's out there about the possible of the 8-episode Ronin series, which maybe that's going to take place.
Maybe that, yeah.
But here's my other big question, and not necessarily just Celebration, but in general. I think it was kind of assumed, and I know assumptions, you make an ass out of you and me, so I get that. The next long form show was going to be the Asajj show. Like that's what kind of everything was kind of leading up towards. Like she's coming back. We're going to get her story. Blah, 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 blah. That's kind of where things were going. So is that not the case now?
They never said it was.
They never said it was. So I can't be disappointed about that. So I'm not like, it's not like
I mean, you can be. If it's something that you were looking forward to that isn't going to happen, you can be disappointed.
It's not, but
Lucasfilm never outright said
100%
doing a Asajj Ventress show.
100%. They did say there was more stuff, a story coming over, and so that's all I expect, and that's all they need to say. Absolutely. But I guess my question becomes, well, then all of a sudden I was assuming that. So if that's the case, I'm assuming, and maybe this is the wrong assumption too, that there is something like a more long form series coming. There's something in the works that's coming. I don't know whether it's like not being announced yet or not, but I got to figure that's something. I mean, do you agree or disagree on that?
Yeah, I agree that there is probably something bigger coming. So, where would be better to announce it?
I'm not talking about announcement anymore. I'm just talking specifically about like,
that
was the assumption that Asajj was going to be that show. So is this a lead into that now? Are they going to do this and then lead into the big one? Or maybe even more fun is if that's not the show, then how are we going to go, well, what is the show going to be then at that point? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're hiring all these animators, so they must be working on something.
Yeah. So, all right. I think it's just very interesting to me to think about because I already had that plan like in my head, like, and I know that's part of my own fault. Like I always plan things out. I'm putting 2 and 2 together and getting 4. In this case, I put 2 and 2 together and got 5. That's eventually I was wrong. But I'm very interested to see what that does mean, if this does mean. Because I guess that's the two options, right? Either we're going to do this small, like little, let's dip our toes in, and then, I mean, I would say it's almost like they're dipping your toes in to see if it's worth doing a full show on. But because animation works so long in advance, I got to figure that they're already.
Ventress show is a win, and they know it. They know
that's what I think too, potentially. So I don't know. Very interesting.
It's okay to be excited for things. Yep. I think a lot of the problem. And I say this again, is this leaker scooper culture. That is a massive part of the problem. And we talk about it all the time. Lucasfilm can't keep their mouth shut.
Right. Well, in the Asajj stuff, I don't think that's a case of keeping their mouth shut because they were going to get asked the question about Asajj because they brought her back in Bad Batch. She's dead in Dark Disciple, coming back in Bad Batch. What else are they going to say? They're going to say, no, we're not going to tell you the story.
But you know what I mean? Like it's conditioned us to think that, they must be doing something. There must be something big coming. Maybe not. Maybe they're still working it out, and that's okay.
Yeah, I guess so.
If it takes more time for them to do it, hey, I'm not planning on going anywhere over the next couple of years.
See, you're not as old as I am. That's the problem. I'm getting old.
When 900 years I will be, it will be fine. Good. It'll be fine.
But when you're 900, I'm like definitely kicking the bucket at that point. So it's like I gotta wait around this long. But no, I get
it's something for you to live for.
And sure. I guess I do hate being this way right now, honestly, because like I want to just like bask in the excitement. Oh my god, I got more Star Wars animated content coming. That should be my
That's what you have me for.
And I'm excited about it. I am excited about it. Don't get me wrong. I can't wait for May the 4th now. We already talked about it kind of off air. We'll solidify it off air, but I believe we're going to do an extra episode of Holy Snokes that week because we can't do Andor, a 3-episode Andor arc
coming out again
and Tales of the Underworld in one episode. Yeah. So We'll do Tales in
But we've also got, Revenge of the Sith being re-released that week as well.
Right. Oh my God.
So we got it good. We've got Celebration, Andor starting, Revenge of the Sith, this show, all within the span of a week.
I wanted to spread it out a little bit, honestly. That's my issue. It's just spread it out a little bit. Because then after that, we're done until, at least...
You don't have to watch them all at once.
How are we going to not watch it and then not cover it? How are we going to not cover it? How are we going to, we're going to wait?
We could do an episode a week. At least that covers us till the next thing.
Okay, I don't know. We'll have to see.
You're the one that's always saying that there's a lull.
I know.
We watch them an episode a week.
But either way. Anyway, I want to put the negativity aside. I don't want to come across completely negative about it, because I'm not negative about it. I'm just kind of like trying to work things out in my head.
The reason we are snipping like this is because on the Force Center live stream the other day, I heard Ken saying how much he enjoys when you and me get snippy at each other.
We get snippy at each other? Are you sure?
That I know of.
We have to.
He says he said it relaxes him. So,
well, Ken, I hope that relaxed you a little bit, maybe.
Yep.
No, but put all negativity aside, I do say I am excited about. I just want more. That's all. I'm a greedy bitch, and I want more.
You're a Queen fan. You want it all. You want it all, and you want it now.
Right, exactly. But I am very excited about Tales of the Underworld as a whole. I really am excited to watch all 6 episodes. I'm going to binge them that night. I'm going to be excited about it. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to be excited about it.
And don't complain about the long wait if you're going to binge them all in one night.
I can't help it. I'll rewatch them at that point. So I'll do my rewatch. I'm doing my other watches I'm doing now. Headlong into Eye of Darkness now. So I'm excited about the High Republic books I'm reading now. So I got stuff to tide me over, no doubt. But, it is what it is. But speaking of books, that is the other piece of news I was going to talk about today. Look at that transition there. I am almost a professional. There was another announcement today, or not today, but the other day, about 3 novels that are coming. Mm-hmm. First off, given you mentioned Revenge of the Sith anniversary screening, they are actually going to be releasing on October 14th, Revenge of the Sith, Matthew Stover's adaptation of Revenge of the Sith is getting a hardcover deluxe edition re-release from Random House World to celebrate the anniversary.
I have the original. It's the only one. It's the only adaptation of the movies that I own.
Yeah, I have that too. I think I have all. I think I have all. I remember getting the Phantom Menace one. I remember that when that came out. I was excited.
Not adaptation. Sorry, novelization. That's the only novelization of the films that I've got.
No, yeah, novelization. That's better. It is $60. That's quite a chunk of change. So what's the deluxe edition mean?
I mean, it's hardback, so
we don't know what that means. Even a hardback book is like usually $30. So it's just like double.
It's a lot of trees to cut down.
But yeah, a lot of trees and a lot of younglings. And a thread on, but a thread on Reddit. Tom Holler, who's the one of the Random House World's editorial director, he was asked about could you justify why it's so expensive and what the deluxe branding means, and he just basically replied, "Time will tell. It always does." So I guess there's something planned to make it deluxe. What that means, I don't know, but I'm excited about that potential.
Sounds like CEO talk for shut the fuck up and pay it.
Tom's on your side, I guess.
No, I'm not. No, Free Luigi. I'm not on Tom's side.
I don't think he's a CEO.
You're making me pay $60 for a book? Free Luigi.
Oh my god. Next up is also
the the Mario character, by the way.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. We don't go there.
We need a plumber.
We're not political.
I need a plumber. Yeah, Star Wars isn't political. What are you talking about?
Stop. Anti-woke crowd over here. Come on.
Trade routes. Who cares about those?
Reading that Phantom Menace, the crawl recently again. Oof, man, that hits hard. George, well ahead of your time.
You knew, brother. You knew.
Well ahead of your time.
You know how they say that Matt Groening was a time traveler when he writes The Simpsons?
Yeah.
I was starting to think George might be as well.
Maybe. You absolutely could be.
Is George Lucas the next Doctor? Is he the real Doctor?
Real Doctor Who? Oh, maybe. Yeah, that would be something. Well, you ever see my son actually showed me this video. I forget where it was. It's a great YouTube video about someone like basically it was this video that George Lucas comes back in time and thanks him, and it turns out that George Lucas, like, the guy actually wrote Star Wars, and George Lucas came back, stole Star Wars, and like published it himself. And he went back, and so he changed the universe. And the guy never wrote Star Wars. Then he comes back, he wanted to thank him for it. It's just like this whole like silly YouTube video, but it was actually funny. It was actually pretty funny. Yeah, I just don't know why I just thought of that, but the time travel thing got to me. Okay, next up, we also had, in case you lost track of time, the 10th anniversary of The Force Awakens as well. And according to a listing on Idleways, there's a new young adult novel coming this September to help celebrate, written by Kwame Mabala, who wrote the Bib Fortuna short story and From a Certain Point of View, Return of the Jedi.
Oh, yeah.
So that's, I guess, that collection is good. That's where Lamar Giles came from, who is doing the upcoming Bad Batch novel. So I don't know. That's always a young adult Force Awakens novel. I don't know what that
Speaking of
necessarily
Bad Batch, we actually are getting more of interest because she
Oh.
appears in the next issue.
Yes, that's right. The Ghost Agent one. That's a good comic book storyline right now. That's a pretty fun one, I gotta be honest. So but that takes place during the Clone Wars, though, pre-Dark Cycle. So but either way, so cool. Force Awakens young adult novel, I'm all in on. And then the big one that I like, and the one that I think you'll like, a book called Star Wars Master of Evil. It is an upcoming novel from Random House World, set to be released on November 11th. We do not yet know the author, but over on Blue Sky, author Adam Christopher, who you know as the writer of Shadow of the Sith, had been fun trolling fans. He'll be present at Celebration. So
he's always at Celebration.
It's easy to put 2 and 2 together on this one potentially. That's what Star Wars.
He's always at Celebration. He's at every single one.
But if he's having fun trolling the fans about it, potentially, it kind of felt like he might be announced as the author of this particular book. Would it be?
I wouldn't be mad if he was. He's a great author.
He is. It's one of my favorite the Disney era books. And if he is, though, but given the title, gotta feel it's a Force Jedi Sith novel, which I feel like is good because I feel like we've kind of gotten away from that in recent Disney stuff. Like, I mean, we have Ahsoka as the Jedi side of things, but a lot of the stuff has been like Andor, Skeleton Crew, like almost putting Jedi to the side of things as we deal with everything else, the Underworld stuff, the Mandalorian stuff, Andor, that's all kind of different, right? So are we getting something exploring the more mystical side of things again? I'm all for that. I'm all for that. So
you also got to remember, like, the Sith are supposed to be shrouded in mystery,
right.
So that's probably why they don't do as much content about. God, I hate saying that. They don't do as much storytelling around the Sith because they are supposed to be shrouded in mystery.
Yeah, it's true. I wonder, like, is this going to be my main issue at the point is, are we going to have an original story, which would be cool, or are we finally getting the Disney canon story of, say, Plagueis? Is this like is this what the Acolytes are not coming, so we're going to get our Plagueis novel now?
Master of Evil says to me that says Palpatine to me.
Well, but Plagueis leads to Palpatine, so that's what I'm saying. Is that the kind of thing we're going to get to potentially,
or is it like a behind the scenes of while Palpatine is like planning or running the show? Do we find out what his day-to-day routine is like as a Sith?
Could be. Or is it the Darth Bane canonization of his storyline? He
wasn't really a Master of Evil, though, was he?
I mean, he's considered the Sith granddaddy, really, of the current order.
He's of the Order of Two, but think how many Sith he killed.
Right. Well, is that pretty evil? He didn't kill him because he was a good guy. He wasn't doing it for a good thing. He was doing it so he could be the worst of the worst.
Still did a good deed, in my opinion. Well, bad deed on my side. But.
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they're ever going to do that. Part of me says, like,
the Jedi should be thanking him.
That sounds like a American government thing right now. Anyway.
Yes, you should be thanking me. You should be wearing a suit when you come when you come to the Jedi Temple, when you come to the Council Chambers.
But either way, I'm always excited about more books. I am almost finished now. I'm about 80% the way through Reign of the Empire, the Alexander Freed book. I will say, your minds may vary. A lot of people love Alexander Freed. I don't love Alexander Freed as an author, myself, and it's one of those guys where I almost feel like I have to justify it because everybody loves him. I don't, but I kind of like, for some reason, he doesn't connect with me very as well as others do. Because every time I read it, I'm like, oh, I love him. I love this book. And I look at it's kind of like, oh, cool. I really want to love you, but it doesn't connect with me as much. I'm loving the Bale stuff. I'm loving the Mon Mothma stuff, especially. I'm just not loving the Sojin part of things. Like basically like his original characters. I'm not loving. I'm loving his take on Mon Mothma. I'm liking his take on Bale. Those are kind of cool. But something about it's not completely.
They're actually using the phrase "justice for the Jedi."
I did like that. I did appreciate that for the Force Senators.
I'm sure Joseph Scrimshaw got a big smile out of that one. They should give him royalties for that.
Well, I guess either way, I do like it. I just don't love it. I'm looking forward to the rest of the series. For sure.
You don't have to love everything. You can just like something and be like,
absolutely,
that was cool.
Absolutely. But I do like getting more novels. I'm very excited about the other novels coming out. I'm looking forward to the rest of that trilogy. I'm looking forward to the High Republic stuff. Looking forward to the already aforementioned Bad Batch novel. Obviously, good times are coming, so I'm excited about that for sure.
It's like when I had this conversation with John Hoey about the last Metallica album. I can't stand it. I think it's worse than St. Anger. He loves it.
Yeah, that's true. John Hoey. I love Mr. Hoey. He's just a broadcast guy, good friend. Wonderful Star Wars man. He is definitively a contrarian. Oh yes, absolutely. Wonderful man. He's definitively a contrarian of kind. Like he'll definitely take something that he likes that a lot of people hate, and he will champion the fuck out of it. And more power to it. I love him for that.
When I told him that I like the new album less than St. Anger, he looked like I had just kicked his dog in front of him. I felt so bad.
Wow. All right, that's the news. All the news that's fit to talk about. It's kind of a
my point being, it's okay to not love something
I know
that everyone loves.
I get it. It's just I guess it's more like not that I don't think it's okay. I get it. I wasn't saying it wasn't okay. It's more that I start thinking to myself, well, what am I missing? Because everybody loves it. So what am I missing here? Actually, I always try to give it another shot. Like there's got to be something I'm missing because everybody I know whose opinions I really appreciate seems to really enjoy it. So I'm like, there's got to be something I'm missing. What is it? But yeah, not so much so far this time for me. I'm glad people love it though. I'm glad I hope he writes more books for them and everything else. I hope it's good for them. But
I think it's great.
I'll let you know when I reread because if I get to Alphabet Squadron again, when I get to that part of the timeline again, when I do those rereads, I'll let you know. Maybe I'll change my mind then. Maybe a second read of his book will give me something to go on potentially. But well, all right. The news was a little light this week, except for it was front loaded. Got a big piece of news in the beginning. Not a lot of other news to talk about. So let's move on to our rest of our episode today. This is our pre-watch of Rogue One. I mentioned this earlier. We are doing a pre-watch. We want to watch Rogue One before we watch Andor Season 2, just to kind of get us in the mood, get us into the time set, get to see how the characters come, K2SO, Krennic, all those kind of people coming back. Let's see where we got to see before we see how they got there. So Rogue One, we're going to do it by categories, as we always do. We break things up into categories here at PLD Projects, segments before we kind of catch up with the rest of it. Our first category, and I'm going to go back to the old one for this one.
No, we don't.
Okay, all right.
No.
I'm going to go out. You know what? This took place beforehand, so I'm going to do both. I'll do both. We're going to do a buy watch, a double watch. Hashtag Honda watch, hashtag Mosk watch. Now, of course, Mosk was introduced in Andor. So obviously we had no chance that we were going to get a Mosk watch. Although I did kind of look from the background. I still kind of looked to see if the actor's in there somewhere, hoping I could see him somewhere in there. I didn't see him. But you know who else I didn't see? I didn't see Hondo and Knox either. So we are 0 for 2 on that one. It stinks. This is actually a film that I understand. I can almost understand why Hondo's not in it because of the tone.
And also he's not part of the rebellion.
True, but there's some like Underworld aspects you could have seen him on. I would rather have seen him. I'm gonna say, here's spoiler alert. I'd rather have seen him in a 2-second cameo than Dr. Evans and Ponda Baba.
Valid. Okay, yeah, that's valid.
That's where I would have seen him, but otherwise,
You
no.
really hate that cameo, huh?
I did. That one, I'll talk about it now. I'm going to talk about it later. Fuck, I'll just get into it now. I brought it up. For some reason, that one.
You were dying for me to bring it up. Don't pretend like you weren't.
I'm usually the guy who loves that shit. I love fan service, whatever. I love connectivity like that. This one got to me because it just felt like there was absolutely no reason for it to happen other than to say, remember these guys from episode 4. Because, like, the characters are in Tatooine a few hours later. Or whatever, a day later, whatever, like time frame wise. It's like, they're sitting base on Tatooine. Why are they in Jeddah? And then we're going to Tatooine. Jedda's about to get destroyed. Somehow they get off Jeddah. It just all seemed kind of like this big leg way.
I said to you last time. Maybe they went to the wrong desert planet.
But then they changed their mind. It just seems so forced. It was such a ding, 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 ding moment. Like, I think it's worse than the 3PO and R2 one. Yeah, 3PO and R2 had their moment, and that was definitively the same type of cameo. There's definitely like a ding, 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 ding. Look at that. They were at Yavin 4. They were at that place a bit. Like, that made sense that they were there. So that's kind of like to me, was kind of like yeah, all right. Get
okay.
3PO in there. We haven't had a movie without 3PO and R2. Let's throw them in there that way. Sure.
So let me pose this to you. And it is a massive shot in the dark, and it is almost certainly not going to happen. What if D Squad were to show up in Andor season 2?
I don't think it's going to happen, but that'd be awesome.
It's not, but tell me you wouldn't be stoked.
Well, it depends. Like I said, on does it make sense?
No, it doesn't. That's why it's hilarious.
Well, it could make sense. That's the thing. Tony Gilroy could make it make sense, I think.
Tony Gilroy with D Squad would be amazing.
Exactly. It could make it make sense, but this just felt like it. This one felt a little off for me. And I was kind of like, see, Hondo there would have been the same type of cameo. Would have been like, hey, look at that. You know this guy. But like, it still would have worked. Like, I feel like he was there doing his thing, whatever. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to our segment that we broke free from our segment for a minute. I got heated, sniped a little bit. I'm back. I'm finding my balance. Character of the week, character of the film, our favorite character of Rogue One. We're basically it's pretty self-explanatory segment here. So, Maddie, who was your favorite character of Rogue One?
I apologize to Mads Mikkelsen because until I watched this movie, I was not aware of his work.
Really? This is where you discovered him?
This is where I discovered Mads.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh, okay, cool.
It's also where Hideo Kojima discovered Mads.
Well, you are the same person, I think. I think you are the English.
I am the white Hideo Kojima.
He's the white Hideo Kojima.
Yeah. But, and then, yeah, he saw Mads and then put Mads as the lead villain in his first independent video game after leaving Konami.
Right.
From seeing him in this. He's not in it much. But when he is, holy shit is he a scene stealer. Even when it's Cassian looking down the barrel of the sniper rifle, he's pointing the gun at him and you're thinking, don't. Just please don't do it. Because you want the reunion to happen.
Right.
Yeah. And he's just like the way he sells it at the start when Krennic lands, and he's just like, all right, where's Lyra? He's like, Lyra passed away. Like you can hear the sorrow in his voice. And it's just like he knows the guilt he must feel from building the Death Star, being the mastermind behind the Death Star, and now being forced to go back and being forced to finish it.
Absolutely.
But still having that little pinprick of light in him to be like, I'm going to put a little pinprick in this Death Star so they can get rid of it. I'm going to make it so my life's work can be destroyed.
That is You're right. I mean, that's a very powerful moment, and it's powerful. Yeah, he has probably some of the best moments throughout the film. I'll give you that. The scene in the beginning, you mentioned that great performance. The transmission speech to Jin, the moment with the rest of the scientists on Edu. Yeah, a lot of great little hit and run.
He cares
moments.
about those scientists. Those are his guys.
Absolutely.
To the point where Krennic's like, all right, we're going to kill everyone. He's like, no,
No.
I did it. And
I
then
did
Krennic
it.
kills him anyway. Krennic is probably my close second, I would say.
Krennic is awesome. Ben Mendelsohn is
villain,
awesome.
dude.
I met Ben Mendelsohn, not met, but like I came to know Ben Mendelsohn. He was in a Netflix show. He's been actually working for a long time. I never really saw him in anything. I saw him in a Netflix show called Bloodlines with Kyle.
I watched like 2 episodes of that.
Kyle, guy from Friday Night Lights. I'm blanking on his name now. Let me look it up. Bloodlines actors. Kyle Chandler. That's it. Kyle Chandler.
Okay.
And that show was a pretty good show, but beyond that, like Ben Mendelsohn's performance was award worthy. And I was like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't recognize your game." I kind of think I know your game,
like me with Matt.
Yeah, pretty much. So I was really looking forward to seeing him in everything he's been in since. And I will go in. He's one of those actors now. He's like not quite, Ed Harris level, but if he's in something, I'm happy to go see it. Like he's a reason I would go see a movie. I'd go, okay, Ben Mendelsohn in it, I'm sold. I'll go see it. So getting him involved.
I mean, I watched it's not Secret War.
Secret Invasion?
Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
I sat through that fucking garbage.
Yeah,
just
it wasn't
to watch
the best.
Ben Mendelsohn scenes.
Was not the best. Of course, Kira was in Secret Invasion as well, although
I mean, the cool thing about it was we finally got a good live-action Dragon Ball Z fight at the end. You see that Dragon Ball Evolution is no longer the worst-rated movie in Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, no. What is it now?
The new Snow White.
Poor Snow White.
I'm going to make a shitload of burner accounts and I'm going to change that back because that Dragon Ball Evolution movie is fucking trash.
Ben Mendelsohn, though, is phenomenal. I'm glad to see him in this as well. I'll throw out there my favorite character. I almost feel bad saying this because, like, he's so comic relief, but I just don't care. It's K2SO.
It's Alan Tudyk, bro. How can you not?
He makes me laugh the entire time. Every time that K2SO is on screen, I smile. I anticipate laughing. I usually do laugh. And he doesn't have the most dramatic moments the story-wise, but like he just has, and he does have one great dramatic moment though towards the end, like which was very powerful. When he finally like accepts Jin, has a moment with Jin, and and then sacrifices himself. You're like, this dude is awesome. I can't wait to see what happens with him in season 2. The best thing about him being a droid is that even though he died, he's a droid. He can come back somehow.
Come back together, yeah.
He died and Scarif exploded, or Scarif City exploded, but we can still find something. There's some easy way he got casting as a backup somewhere that he was on. They're gonna go back to like, I don't know, you're gonna go back to Ferrix and find a USB port with K2SO's personality on it or something. And you buy it. You know about it.
Alan Tudyk is such a good voice actor. Yes. Right? I had an Idris Elba moment with him in this movie. I didn't know he was American until this.
Oh, really?
Because of him in A Knight's Tale.
Oh, of course.
His English accent is so fucking good.
Hold on.
That I've gone through my entire life thinking that he's English.
I always forget.
It was kind of like Idris when everyone discovered that Idris is English. Everyone was like, what the fuck?
I always forget how much of a seminal movie A Knight's Tale was for you.
It's my favorite movie of all time.
I know. I shouldn't say I forget, but I like A Knight's Tale, but it was never a seminal movie for me. I watch it, it's good, but I don't go back watch it. And I love that it is for you. I love that it is for you, by the way. But I haven't watched it probably since the early 2000s, whatever. So I forget that Alan Tudyk.
I've only ever been to 2 musicals. That was We Will Rock You with my granddad, and the Back to the Future musical with Rachel Silverstream. I am going to the A Knight's Tale musical.
Is there going to be a musical? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Did I know that?
It opens next week.
Oh, wow. Good for you. Good for you. Nice.
I have no idea who's in it. No idea who any of them are, but I'm going.
You chose two good musicals, though. I'll tell you that much. Those are good fun ones. So I didn't realize I forgot that Alan Tudyk was in this movie. Like so for me it was Firefly and Serenity that brought me Alan Tudyk, which I love. I loved it. I've seen him in everything. Dollhouse, so good in Dollhouse. The other Joss Whedon show that was afterwards that was very underrated. He was like a Joker kind of character, but he was freaking good.
Are they remaking Firefly? Did I see that the other day?
No, they've talked about doing that for a while. Talking about rebooting it and stuff. And I don't think they'll remake it. I think if they're going to do anything, they'll bring it back, like Nathan Fillion. They'll come back, kind of thing. I think, but
can't do it with Joss though.
That's that. I think that's probably what the holdup is. Although they're doing Buffy, so I don't know. I don't know at this point. It's hard to say. But either way, that's what Alan got to me. I love Alan Tudyk as well. So Alan, you're right. He's also great. He did the great voice for the iRobot. Speaking of other robot characters he's done and everything else. So
did you Sonny?
Yeah, he was Sonny.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was him.
Huh.
So he's a phenomenal actor, and he does
not get the credit he deserves.
No, I agree. Of course, he's also people always kind of forget that he's in Dodgeball. He's the pirate.
I know.
But K2SO just makes my day in that, and I love him in this. And it's funny watching rewatching Rogue One, and how much I love Genevieve O'Reilly in Andor. It's obvious she hasn't found her character completely yet in Rogue One. Like she's fine, she's good, but it feels like she's so much better in Andor. It's not trying to be a dig at her in a way, but I think
she's got more to work with.
Yeah, that's all it is. Like a smaller role. I'm so happy that she came back for it, especially because we're getting a shit ton of great work from her in Andor. It felt like she was still kind of trying to find her way because she didn't have a lot to work with. Absolutely, she was there for a couple minutes here and there, but she did have some great moments with Jimmy Smith. So there was some nice little great. One of my favorite lines, and I'm not giving it away because it's not my.
I think everyone's just got chemistry with Jimmy Smith.
That's not. You're not wrong there. You're not wrong there. But obviously, telling when she asks about the Jedi, and he tells her Leia's going to go get her and stuff. That was kind of a cool moment. And I will say, she actually had one of my favorite sequences. A fist bump moment is when after they turn Jyn Erso down, they go to Scarif, but then Jyn and Cass go anyway, and they come back and they tell Mon Mothma like the fleet's gone, they've gone to Scarif, and like, you'll get Mon Mothma who had been the one saying sorry without this complete agreement to the Senate, we can't do it. They tell her this happened, and she tries to listen and starts like a little smile, like a little like for them kind of thing. It's like, yeah, that's Mon Mothma. That's the Mon Mothma I know I love. Yeah, good overall. All right, let's move on to I Spec, our favorite lines of dialogue. Maddie, we'll go back and forth. I had a couple I'll throw in there. For movies, I always like to throw a couple. Most of them are K2SO funny ones. That's the problem. I wish I had some serious ones. But I'm going to start with a Krennic funny one. And it's funny because his delivery, it's not funny because of the situation, but it's his delivery that just makes me chuckle. Oh, here's Lyra back from the dead. It's a miracle.
Oh, there's Lyra back from the dead.
A miracle.
Such a prick.
I love it so much. Well, I'll let you go with one next.
So, this is my favorite quote from the movie, and this guy's going to come up a lot.
Okay.
Chirrut Imwe, when he says, there is more than one sort of prison, Captain. I sense that you carry yours wherever you go.
Chirrut Imwe just brings the Eastern philosophy quotes galore and just keeps
very typecast. 1,000% very typecast. But also going to get into him when we get to comedy.
Yeah, he.
I didn't know he had
an highlight.
I've been watching Donnie Yen since I was a child. I did not know he had these kind of comedic chops.
All right. I almost hesitate saying this because I don't want to go off on a tangent that you'll go off on a tangent for 5 years on, with all that kind of time. You came here late. But how excited are you about Donnie Yen directing Kane, the John?
I don't know what I did to deserve this, but thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited about that too. Very excited about that.
We got Ana de Armas, my future wife in the ballerina. We have Donnie Yen doing the Kane. Is it a movie or is it a show?
It's a movie. Yeah, it's a movie.
Make it like 3.5 hours.
There's an animated prequel coming with John Wick. Animated prequel. Basically, the story of John doing his thing to get out
There's
from the
already
high
a comic
table.
of that.
Oh, they're doing an animated one.
Yeah, we don't need that. There's already a comic of it. Give me another John story.
Of John getting out from under the high table, going back to his wife, the kills he made. Is there a comic book on that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they're doing an animated movie.
The Impossible Task.
Okay. Well, they're doing a movie on it. And of course, they are doing John Wick 5 now. That was announced. CinemaCon.
Give me John Wick 23. Okay.
I just hope. I love the idea. I just hope that they're doing it for the right reasons. Because John Wick 4 did have like quite
a finale. To please me. It's the only reason.
I don't think that's why they're doing it. I don't think that's why they're doing it. But I just hope because like they did have such a great finale. I do hope that it's more of like they have a good story to tell and not just here's a bag of money.
Here's my pitch. And you're right, we are getting on a tangent, so I'm going to give you my pitch and then we're going to go back. John Wick. Keanu has been going on and on about how he wants to do Constantine 2.
This is the Jeff Ultron pitch as well. John Wick fights out of hell.
It's the Jeff pitch because I told Jeff about this.
Oh, is it? Jeff calling you out. Wow.
Jeff, I'm calling you out because I told Jeff on this. John Wick goes to hell and then becomes John in Constantine.
Oh, interesting. I thought when I heard it was John Wick fights his way out of hell and teams up with John Constantine. It's a Keanu Reeves double role. That's what I pitched at one point.
You could do that. You could do. I'm not opposed to that.
Double action, and somehow Neo comes in and saves the day. God. Let's move on. Okay, other lines of dialogue we got. I'll throw another one in there. This one was definitely K2SO one. You're letting her keep it. Would you like to know the probability of her using it against you? It's high. It's very high. And it was just like the delivery of the line is funny enough. But it's the wait, the pause, and he dismisses it, and he keeps going with it's high. It's very high.
Yeah.
Any more for you?
Anytime Galen calls Jin my Stardust.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I never thought of calling someone I love my Stardust, and now I'm like, I'm taking that one.
Taking that one? You're gonna take that one aside? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's the no, because that's in comedy. I don't really want to use it now.
Yeah, I have a couple of comedy ones I'm actually saving too.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. This is actually a funny one, but I'll say it anyway. Hopefully, I'm not stepping on your toes on this one. Neither K2. So, Jin, I'll be there for you. Cassian said I had to.
No, that wasn't the one.
Okay, good. But it's a good one. And I will also throw out there, it's some people call it too sentimental. Some people call it cheesy. I don't care. Rebellions are built on hope. Still gets me going. I like it. I'm all for that. I'm okay with that. So.
Anytime someone replies to me on social media with the Hawkeye, don't give me hope.
Right.
That's what I always reply with.
Brilliant. Two great categories. Okay. Moving on. Put that in your holocron and Snokes it. Explore more lore. Talk to me, Manny. What do you want to explore? What do you want to see get further exploration on?
It's easy. More of the, more Chirrut and Baze.
Guardians of the Wills?
No, not even just the Guardians of the Wills. Like, how did Baze become, like, because Chirrut even says that he was one of the biggest believers. What changed?
Right. The Empire changed.
It's not covered in the book.
Mm-hmm. So, which is a disappointment. That should have been covered in the book.
Like, what made him lose his faith? Yeah. Like, did he believe that the Jedi turned against the Emperor?
Right.
I kind of wouldn't think that he would believe that.
Yeah, I would love to see
especially with the big Jedi procession that we see in Mask of Fear.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta imagine he was there. So, but yeah, more of those two. Give me one.
I agree. I said Guardians of the Wills as one of mine, but that was like that's more of the general because I do want to go more at the Guardians of the Wills in general too. But yes, Baze and I think I'd love to do both. I would love a Guardians of the Wills like animated show. To be honest with you, it'd be an animated show where you just like what they do, what they did with the Jedi and everything else, and have them be like the focus of it, like they're the leads. And
Have you read the book, the Guardians of the Wills book?
I did. Yeah, I like the book. From what I remember, I don't remember a whole lot of it. I'll be honest with you. I kind of read it once, and I'm gonna reread it eventually. But I love that idea, though. I'll throw out another one there for me. I want to know, and I think we might get it. We might be getting it in Andor season 2. Is how did Saw get to be so decrepit by the time this happened? Like he's like got the
crazy conspiracy.
He's got the breath going on, like everything about time. Like so, was last time we saw him in Andor season 1, he wasn't quite there. He was unhinged. But so how does that happen? Is there a kind of is he at the Gorman massacre, and that's what happens to him?
Maybe he is essentially the old dude in the conspiracy theorist, like with the hut that's boarded up, and he's in a wheelchair,
right?
Like the crazy old kooky conspiracy theory guy.
I mean, I love it. To be honest with you. I think it's great. Yeah, but I want to know more about it. To be honest with you. I got actually for the first time felt a little. You're gonna hate me for this, and I'm sorry. We're gonna snipe again. I actually felt some. I don't know, sympathy's not the right word, but I did. I felt like this sense of like I didn't realize how like low he had gotten, like at a point where he like I almost was like, why didn't you run? Like he's so tired and she's so done.
He did that to him. You have done that yourself.
Oh. You know what? I've done a lot of things to myself that I'm not happy of, but I still can feel basic compassion for them.
Nope.
I know you don't.
Here's another piece of lore that I want to explore. How much of his body was left after that explosion? Was his head there? Can I like hold up Saw Gerrera's head?
Probably. No, I don't think so. No, actually, I don't think you can. It's gone. It's pretty gone. I think it got immolated. I think at this point. Poor guy.
I get what you're saying. Like it's a very tragic story what happened to him, but at the same time, you have revolutionaries like that go down a path that they just go too far.
Absolutely, and I'm definitely not saying he didn't. That's not like
I know you're not. I know you're not. I know you're not saying that. I mean, the man did kill kids.
100%. He did his, but like it's a tragic story where he came from, and I think he's just a good character, not good character, a good character, good evil.
Okay. He's a well-written character.
Well-written character. Yes.
Okay. That we agree on.
Like I like watching him, and he's fascinating to watch his whole story. Considering like he doesn't have a single real piece of like media that's really his story. We've gotten a lot of like he had the Andor arc. We've had him appearing in Rebels. We have like the book with Jin. We have Rogue One. He's in Andor. We have this whole storyline of his character. It's fascinating, and like Bad Batch as well. It's fascinating character arc, but he's not the focus of any of it. And it's kind of cool that we have a character that has an arc over that many different pieces of media. That's not like the focus on any of them. I think that's just kind of like that shows how like well developed that character really is over time. So I like that. Want to see more? I would like to see a Saw one-off, like from Saw's point of view. I know and he get a little bit of that also in Mask of Fear, a little bit of that, but I think that's one of the things I'm disappointed about that book and that side of things. We had Saw, but there was an article about it with the Random House guy, how Alexander Freed chose not to do a POV from Saw. He had POV from Bale, POV from Mon Mothma, and it was POV from Sojin instead of Saw because he didn't want to get into Saw's head too much about that. And I'm like, no, I want to get into Saw's head. I love that idea of seeing things from his side. So I'm hoping that that's not what happens in the next 2 books, to be honest with you. Just throwing that out there. I think I'm bitter at Sojin because like Sojin's a fine character, but like I want to know more about Saw. Anything else? Any other one you wanted to mention, or are you good there?
No, I'm good. I think the next one's Covenant, right?
I do real quick. I just want to say I did want to throw out there. The other thing I'm kind of interested in is Draven as a character. I like Draven, and like he's kind of like that Saw character.
I thought you said Dryden for a second. I was like, Dryden's not in this, but I agree with you. Okay,
Draven, because Draven seems to be. Draven is like the hard ass Saw partisan kind of guy that's in the Mon Mothma rebellion side of things. So it's kind of like that. Well, you see Cinta
who
like
made
that.
A good General Draven.
Who? Ed Harris.
Ed
Harris. Absolutely, Ed Harris. What would Ed Harris play? General Draven.
General Draven.
Except he starts flying the X-Men, he's really got the high ground. Then he's really like
exactly. He's up
oh,
here.
there.
They're down there. We can always find a way.
Always find a way.
Life finds a way. So does Ed Harris.
Ed Harris. Next up is actually not comedy yet. We got to go to the action moment. Seen a lot of action.
Yeah.
Different action beats, and there's a ton of them in this movie. It's not like we had some problems with Andor having some briefer like lull moments as far as action goes. There's a ton of action in this movie. The whole
should we get the big one over with first?
Yeah, because you know what, I want to get this out of the way because there's been some like I almost feel like it's hip to like not like this anymore as much. Like it's like oh, it's too much.
Who doesn't like it?
I've seen people say stuff to me. It's almost like everybody loves it, so then people gotta be contrarian about it. Well, we didn't need it. It's just
shut the fuck up, you fucking dweebs.
Just enjoy it. Just enjoy the Vader hallway.
Vader walking down a hallway, killing a shitload of people.
You want your horror in Star Wars? You got it, and got it for like, at least a minute there. That is basically a horror movie in Star Wars. Vader's your monster. He's slashing and dashing. He's poking and frying, and he's just kicking ass, and it's so scary.
It is turning around and seeing Jason Voorhees and Mike Myers at the end of the hallway. But worse because he has a laser sword.
And he can use the Force. He just doesn't have to catch up to it.
He does it as well. It's so brutal because he just goes.
Yeah, it's all like just boom, 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 done. Standing there watching. Oh, so good.
Like that reminded me of when I was a kid and I was scared of Vader.
Yeah, 100%. It made Vader very scary again, and I think that's necessary at some points. We don't get a lot of that, and like I'm not one of those guys who out there needs a Vader movie or a Vader TV show. We get all that for like I don't need that
whole fucking saga about Vader.
I don't need that for like 90 minutes or 2 hours. We don't need that, but it's nice to see that happen now and again encapsulated into a story. So I'm all for it.
It's just like the lighting, like everything goes pitch black. And you get the little hint of red. And then it goes to black. And then just
and the music. Operatic, choral, beautiful stuff.
Tony knew what he was. Has Tony Gilroy done a horror movie?
No, he should.
He should. Really should.
I mean, Gareth Evans has done Godzilla. It's hard to know who did what for that sequence. Really, I've heard many people like at first people thought it was Tony Gilroy, but then some people pushed back. Somebody who was there pushed back and said it was actually a Gareth Evans thing. So I don't want to throw out there saying it's either. You know what I mean? Whoever it was, I can't tell who it was. Whoever it was, bravo.
Maybe it was George.
Yeah, it could have been. You never know. It could have been. I'm looking through Tony's thing. Even he did the Devil's Advocate. He wrote the Devil's Advocate, which is like
he wrote the final scene. The sadist. Yeah.
So there's obviously a side of horror for sure.
How fun must it have been to write that for Al Pacino?
Yeah, that would have been great.
Knowing that you're gonna get screaming Al Pacino, screaming Al.
Yeah, absolutely. He also did a uncredited writing work on Enemy of the State, which we covered recently on Class Action. But all right. Anyway, any other action bits you want to throw in there?
I mean, the whole fight scene in the square of Jeddah.
The Chirrut.
All of it.
Okay, the whole thing.
Even with Baze, when K2 shows up.
Yeah.
It's like something out of an old like World War II film. You've got this screaming child in the middle of this square that's like been separated from its mother. You've got Chirrut there just styling on everybody. And then this like showdown between the Saul's partisans and the Empire.
Right.
It's just like, and it's all happening in this holy city. So literally nowhere is safe.
Agreed.
It's so fucking cool.
I mean,
like, when the tank comes in, you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Chirrut part was wonderful because getting the martial arts side of things in Star Wars has not happened very much. Obviously had lightsaber fights, Obi-Wan and Anakin were really well done, really choreographed and everything else. But that real, genuine Eastern influence on fighting was there with a genuine Eastern fighter.
It was very Jackie Chan.
Yeah, it was.
It was like action comedy.
Absolutely.
Like, you know how Jackie Chan will be like, and then he'll look like he'll make a funny face, and then he'll do the next bit.
Yep. It's funny. Maybe it did make you want to go watch a Jackie Chan movie. I watched it.
Have you seen the video of him choreographing the fight scene from Rush Hour?
Yes. Oh God, so good.
He's like walking Chris Tucker through it.
Yeah. Such a badass.
He's the fucking goat, man.
That's
Jackie's
so good,
the
man.
goat.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else action wise I want to throw in there. Oh, I should throw in the Hammerhead sequence during the battle, the space battle. Hammerhead like knocking into the Star Destroyer, like that's freaking sweet. That's cool. That's a great moment for sure. The whole battle in Scarab, there's all sorts of cool moments.
I mean, them chasing Andor at the start.
Chasing Andor started, yeah, absolutely. The death of Tivik, where basically we found out who Andor was. Like, oh, and that was the defining moment. I think right away it was kind of like, oh, I just made that joke before. Like, oh, I didn't know what your game was. I'm sorry, Cassian. Kind of like that's who you are. Okay, this is who you are. Okay. No question on who shot first here. He shot only at that point. So I love that part of it as well. So yeah. Okay. Any other action bits you want to highlight, or you want to go on to?
No, we can move on.
Okay. Comedy. Haha. Laugh it up, fuzzball. What are our favorite funny moments? Go ahead, Maddie. I know you've been waiting to say it the whole time, so I'll let you go ahead and start.
I've been waiting to defend this. And to mention him again, I'm sorry, Ken. I know you hate this moment. Be careful not to choke on your aspirations.
It's so cheesy, so bad, and I love it.
There's still Anakin in there.
I love it though. I'm all good. I am not one who ever people groaned at that, and I laughed my butt off. I thought it was great. Awesome.
It's like even the shot, it's just like him, just like from behind, like.
Yep. And lost it.
Like that's Anakin. That's not Vader. That's Anakin.
Yeah, that's good. Let's see. I'll throw another one in there. This is one I don't think you'll have, and I don't think anyone will have. For me, it was an underrated moment, understated moment as well. But I chuckle at it every time. It's Diego's reappraisal of Jin during the battle on Jeddah. Like they're fighting, all of a sudden he turns and like she like beats up 3 stormtroopers, whatever, and Diego Luna just has like look on his face, just goes. Like, it basically is what I did. I'm overusing the phrase now. It basically is, oh, I didn't understand your game in one look. It's kind of big, like, oh, okay. I don't know why it would make me chuckle every time. Great face from Diego Luna, who does a great performance throughout the entire movie. But that was one of those things like I love that moment. It's very underrated. Never hear anybody talk about it. I want to highlight it. So
let's shine a light on Donnie Yen.
Do it.
And how I didn't know he had these comedy chops. When they put the bag over his head, and he just goes, "Are you kidding me? I'm blind." Every time it gets me.
Yep. Every time. I love
when
that.
He's fighting the 2 stormtroopers either side of him, and he digs his stick into their foot, and he goes, "Is your foot all right?" When Baze shoots all those stormtroopers in a row, and he just goes, "You could have shot me."
I love the follow up to that too. The two of them together. The Force protected me. I protected you.
You know what kind of show would be, or like project would be best for those two? Like a buddy cop movie.
Lethal Weapon. I was going to say like Lethal Weapon. Yeah. I would love that. I would so buy into that. I don't know how you make it work considering where they are in the thing, but like maybe that's what they are to the Guardians of the Wheels when they leave Jeddah and they have to go off and like find
like Mormon missionaries kind of
something, or they had to save. I don't know. Maybe they have to save another fellow missionary or something that got caught. Pirates have kidnapped one of their people. That I would love that to be the case. Have that be a film. Have them run into they could run into like Lando. They could run into Hondo. They could run into all like. There's so much potential in that, but have them be the leads. Well, at this point, he'd be too young.
Or maybe they go to Tatooine.
Jedi. Oh, yeah.
Maybe they go to Tatooine and maybe they find him.
Oh,
maybe they go looking for Obi-Wan.
Okay. I guess they could do that. I kind of wanted to stay away from Tatooine. I wanted to just be like away from that aspect of it, though, personally. But I get that. So that's definitely something they could do. Crimson Dawn, though, they can get involved with potentially. It could be like, there's a lot of things you could do for sure. They go to Jabba on Tatooine. That makes sense. That kind of, and that's where it happens. I could see that. That's cool.
All right. You go, because I know who you want to bring up next.
And there's a fresh one if you mouth off again. So slapping Diego. If you watch that again, like I watched it, I rewound it a few times. Diego Luna almost cracks. Like he almost laughs. Like he gets smacked and he says it. And Diego has to kind of like do one of those, like, I got to turn my face away from the camera because he's kind of got this smile on his face. That's all Diego and not Cassian. I feel good. Maybe it is you played off that it's Cassian laughing at K2SO doing that because it's such a serious situation, but you can tell how funny that was to him.
I think that's one of those things. It's kind of like you have to leave that in.
Yeah.
If he was about to crack, like you kind of have to leave that in just because it shows how good of a performance Alan Tudyk put in.
Absolutely. Maybe laugh hysterically. All right, go ahead. I know you have another one.
Did you know that wasn't me? When Jin shoots the K2 droid that's behind him.
Yes. About the one. Congratulations, you are being rescued. You do not resist. After rock bottoming him down. Loved it.
Or when he goes, sure, I'll just stay on the ship, and he throws the grenade behind him.
And then when he's trying to like bullshit his way, I didn't write down the exact that line, but they're Cassian and Jin are in getting the Stardust thing, and he's like, "Well, the rebels, they're over there," and oh well, beating him up.
I think we're gonna get more moments like that because in the trailer when he just socks that's
gonna be that moment. Absolutely. So, all right. Any more you want to throw in there?
Nah, I think we covered the big ones.
All right, let me go through with my notes. Is there anything else? No crawl at the beginning. Are we a fan of that or not a fan of that?
I don't mind.
You didn't mind. Okay. I think I decided I prefer the crawl overall. I just like it. Even if it's like an adjusted crawl, like it was for Solo or for like Ahsoka, for example. I like a little crawl. It didn't like bother me completely. It kind of felt really abrupt. Like it was so weird, like abruptly. But yeah, overall it's good. Let's see. Oh, you know what I want to throw in there? I really want to shout out Michael Giacchino. Because I did not love the score the first time I saw this movie. Like I just didn't connect. I don't know. It's my first like real non-John Williams score, so maybe I was holding a little bit of a grudge, maybe like an irrational grudge. Like it's not like Michael's fault. And like they fired John Williams. You know what I mean? It was
the band got a new lead singer, and
right. Yeah. It's kind of like you're doing Star Wars. Thrill me. I think you know what I mean. But then I watched it again.
You were the guy at the back of the show being like, "Impress me, bro."
Exactly. Now it's one of my favorite Star Wars scores. Like I actually put it up there with some of the great John. Like it is a wonderful score. There's some moments that are kind of like the abrupt beginning. I'm not a big fan of that part. There's some moments where it's like a little cheesy, but overall, given the fact the guy had like 2 weeks to do it, I think it was, or 2 or 3 weeks to do it, like because he got I think it was Alexander Desplat, I believe, was supposed to do it, and then he left or what. I don't know. Either way, so Michael Giacchino gets like 2 or 3 weeks to do this, and he comes up with that. That's awesome. That's phenomenal. Great themes, Jin's theme, Stardust theme, powerful stuff. It's really, and the Vader hallway sequence I already mentioned, perfectly Darth Vader operatic. Love this score so much. It's right up there with all my other favorite Star Wars scores. So honestly, also I would put it right up there with the Kiner and Williams of it all. To be honest with
you, if we're giving shout outs, we absolutely have to talk about Riz Ahmed.
Yes, good call. Yes, good.
He went through fucking hell, and not only did he not give up, he stepped up
continuously and gave his life. Yeah.
God, I hope they bring him back. I really do. I hope, give me one episode of Andor season 2 where we see him.
I would love to see that as well. I really would. I don't know if we have room for it. I feel like it's gonna. I feel like honestly, I think what's gonna come down to, it's like, do we have time for Riz Ahmed or do we have time for Mads Mikkelsen, kind of thing. I think like maybe one or the other. I feel like that's the way. I feel like that might be the case. If that's the case, you gotta go with Mads, I think.
Yeah.
But maybe it's both. Maybe you see Mads talking to Riz. Maybe like the last episode has him kind of a cameo at the end. Would be kind of cool. But yeah. Okay. The message, well played by Felicity Jones when she watches Galen and her heart breaks and sees the Stardust Mountain. Like it's very well played. It's something that she could have overacted easily, but she didn't. She just kind of played it pretty subtle, just kind of blank face, but you could still see the emotion on the face. Really beautiful moment there. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Endgame with Tony Stark and his daughter. Honestly, like a little bit like that. I kind of think like Endgame watched Rogue One a little bit, maybe had a little cool idea, but we could do this. I'm not saying that happened, guys. I'm just saying it potentially.
Copy my homework, but make it look like you didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Good case there. Love the Rebels toss outs there. I get to see Chopper briefly and the General Syndulla mention, but more importantly, it's the meaningful cameos I mentioned. All the pilots, Gold Leader, Red Leader, during the battle, when they reappropriated a New Hope footage and got the guys to come back, say some extra lines to kind of fill in the gaps. That was great because that is exactly what I was talking before. It makes absolute sense to have that happen. Sense to have that happen. Peter Cushing as well. Yeah, Peter Cushing as well. But I know people didn't like that, but I thought that actually was very good too. I understand the technology is still not there, and it was definitely less there back then, 10 years ago. As long as the family's okay with it, I don't think this is a problem. Which they were. And I'm okay with that. I think it's a fine enough thing. I understand
that lawsuit in the end.
Yeah, I don't know. I never heard anything again. So Disney probably paid him some fuck you money, and how it happened. But I do like I like that more than I don't want to see a full show. Like I wouldn't want to see him go, oh, we're gonna announce the Adventures of Luke Skywalker, and we have recreated Luke now. I don't want to see
or recreated Carrie.
Or recreated Carrie. Wouldn't want to see something like that. Absolutely. But like having recreated Carrie at the very end of Rogue One, I thought that meant a lot to me. She knew about that obviously, and she approved of that one specifically. So I love that. I thought that was a wonderful moment. And like you're like, oh, it doesn't look right. It looks good enough. It gets the point across. And I when I saw it, my heart was like, nice.
We used to watch puppets, dude. I think it's okay.
Yeah, we're fine with that. So mark me down as one who's pro revisiting characters digitally if the proper steps are taken and it makes sense story-wise and everything else. Now, that brings up a good point for Andor Season 2. Are we going to see Tarkin again? We could. I do think you could get away without getting him at this point.
Yeah, again, it comes down to that. Who do you pick?
We have Krennic in there, and the story is about Krennic more than it is Tarkin at this point. Tarkin kind of comes in and takes over during Rogue One. So I don't think you need to. You could have maybe Stephen Staunton do the voice, like on a comm transmission or something. You'd hear his voice potentially. You'd mention him. I don't think you need Tarkin for this.
You got the whole ISB as well. You don't need Tarkin.
Right. And if they have him in there, am I going to fight? Am I going to get pissed? Tony Gilroy has him in there? No. Because there was something that Tony Gilroy said that made me think we might get him. Something about, I forget the exact quote. It was something that led to me believe like they had gotten further in the technology or something. Technology's gone a long way, so maybe we'll see him. But I think that, like, for example, I know that Tarkin is the one who does the Gorn Massacre in Legends, at least. I think you could pass it off to Krennic in Andor Season 2 and be fine to do that in a way. But we'll see. Anything else? Let's see. Seeing the Death Star is fun. Seeing the Death Star in action is fun.
The plans. The Black Saber.
Yes. Oh, yes. That was nice. That was a good touch. Moff Gideon knows that, I guess. He's aware of these things potentially. But But yeah, I do like that, and like I said, I love the Hope and Leia at the end and the whole sequence there. I love the fact that they're ballsy and they killed off the entire crew. Like people didn't think they were going to do it.
Yeah.
Like Disney wouldn't do it. They did, and I think that meant everything at that point.
And again, it made the Death Star scary again.
Mm-hmm. That's was very scary, frightening. Great moments though there when the Death Star blows up, blows up Scarif, and Krennic watched it coming, and you're like, he knows it's coming, knows the death's coming, and he's like, fuck. Like it's a powerful moment. But Cassian and Jin sharing that moment at the end, that's a powerful moment as well.
That was very much a we're the last two people left alive.
Yeah, 100%.
Why not?
That is the thing I think is going to look a lot different after you watch Andor season 2. Like if we watch Andor season 1, Andor season 2 into Rogue One,
the smooch.
Cassian's death in general is going to hit harder. Because in Rogue One, he was people kind of forget now because I think some people forget now, but he's like a secondary character. It's really Jin's show for the most part. Cassian's there and he's important, but it's Jin's show. Now we know a lot more about Cassian and his background, and he's like the hero of his show. So seeing him kick the bucket is almost part. I think it's more meaningful now because it has more. We have that more depth of character. We have spent more time with them. It's not just one movie. It's 24 episodes, or it will be 24 episodes, and then the movie. So I like that. I guess he's thinking like also like, oh, so this is death, and we're like, we start thinking of Marva, we start thinking of Bix, we start thinking of Brasso and B2EMO and everything. Although that's in our head when he goes. It's going to be a great moment.
Stay tuned for our post watch.
Yeah, we cry. We cry 1,000 tears. Night of 1,000 tears, or whatever it is. All right. Anything else you want to break down and mention?
No, mate. I think that's pretty much everything. I'm ready to give this bad boy a score.
Let's give this bad boy a score. I rate things on a scale of 1 to 11 because we always turn things up to 11 here on PLD Projects. What do you give this one, Maddie?
I give this a 10.5. This is my favorite movie out of the current era.
The Disney era. Okay. I give it a 10 out of 11. 10.5 is pretty close to it, I would say, though. I could definitely see that. As far as my favorite one outside there, I think it might be mine too. Force Awakens. This one,
it's shot for something different. We have a spy thriller,
right? Yeah,
in Star Wars.
Yeah,
it's pretty.
I would throw Solo up there as well for me because I think there's again a lot of connectivity. I think it gets underrated. Like Rogue One, if anything, and I hate saying this, but if anything is overrated, whereas Solo is underrated, I think that's what I have in my head. I'm not saying that Rogue One is overrated, but definitely seems like everybody loves Rogue One and. He's like, best one, blah, 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 blah. Whereas like people like hate on Solo for stupid reasons. And I think they're both, I think Rogue One deserved its laurels. But if it was anything, it was either properly rated or overrated. Solo way underrated. So I feel bad about that. I want to give Solo its flowers, so to speak. But yeah, so that's going to do it for us, folks. We'll be here next week. Thank you so much for joining us. Where can the folks find you, Maddie?
You can find me on social media at Matty Morner. You can find my band Morner on all streaming platforms. You can find me here every week for Holy Snokes.
That's right. You can find me all over this channel. I am the titular PLD. You can find me. We do 2 middle-aged geeks on film. Me and PJ doing the Superman franchise now, and on Patreon at patreon.com/PLD Projects, or on YouTube membership. You can see us doing our MCU rewatch as well. They will be on the main channel eventually. If you can't, you can wait. You'll see them eventually. Also, you can find me. I do a show about V. I do a show about Queen. We do Class Action, which is our debate show between me, Maddie, and Richard Eric Jarvie. Next up will be Accountant versus Accountant 2. I believe I initially said May 5th. I believe we're going to do May 12th now so that we can accommodate.
Yeah, I should be good. I should be good for May 12th. So
good. That's what we're going to say. We'll let you know when that's official. That's our penciled in date at the moment because we want to do that secondary Holy Snokes that week. We're going to do the Tales of the Underworld review on Monday, and then we'll do the Andor. I think it's the third arc in Andor on that Thursday. So yeah, that's going to do it for us. We'll see you next week where we do our preview of Celebration before Maddie goes off to Japan. And as far as the show after that, I don't know what my plans are at this point. I'll try to keep you guys updated. I'm either going to do a solo show on that Thursday while Maddie's in Japan, or I might not do a show on Thursday. I might just kind of go live Friday night or Saturday night when Celebration is going on and kind of do news and talk about the stuff that comes out, even if it's like overnight, early in the morning. So you can either watch me live if you're a late night owl, or the following day it'll be up. You can hear my discussion on that.
I might be able to join you for the morning panels because I didn't get into any of them.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Maybe. We'll keep that in mind. We'll see what we can do. But I want to make sure you have your time and have fun as well. I don't want you to have to sit down and talk to me when you should be getting drunk with, with Molly and Alex and whoever else you're going to be meeting at that point. So, everyone.
Whoever put the drink in my head.
That's true. Hideo Kojima. You and Hideo Kojima are going to be hanging out.
He doesn't drink.
It doesn't matter. He's still be hanging out with you while you drink.
Oh, we're gonna become best, and I'm gonna tell him. I'll be like, my co-host said that you're not gonna direct the new Star Wars movie, and then he's gonna come out the next day and be like, I am the man. I am the new director.
If that happens because you tell him what I said, I will gladly own that and say, I made that happen. You're welcome.
I will acknowledge you for that.
Acknowledge your tribal chief, as Roman Reigns. All right, guys. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye.
May the force be with you. Always.